So the question of whether or not this bike is better than the Super 73 is obviously no, it's not a good bike. But for the price, I think this is a great deal. Review of the Hyper Radster 26-inch Rambler style e-bike. You can get this off of Walmart or Amazon. I actually purchased this bike in conjunction with another e-bike, which is the Hyper Cruiser on the right here. I'll have another review of this bike specifically if you're interested in the description below. So before all that, let's get started with the unboxing here. The bike itself ships in this cardboard box, and everything is kind of zip tied down. You're gonna have to cut out through a lot of stuff. And actually, I broke, or like the bike came broken when it was shipped. In addition to the broken brake calipers, the lights were also broken off of the wheel. And installation takes about probably 20 minutes with the unboxing as well. It definitely helps have another person with you. The e-bike comes with 7 speeds in the back there, in addition to a derailleur guard. The front here has some really nice flat platform pedals, and this is a assisted e-bike, so that means there's no throttle, but there is a twist lever here for changing of the speed, which is 7. The cockpit here is using a BMX style handlebar. So that means if you wanted to upgrade or change the handlebar width, it's going to be really hard to find different size handlebar attachments because of this BMX headset. Moving down towards the wheels, it comes with these fat knobby tires, and in addition you got disc brakes, which as I mentioned earlier in the video, kind of were bent out of shape, and I just had to pry them back to realign them. The pedals here were a big surprise because they were really nice platform pedals as opposed to the crappy cheap pedals. There is a storage compartment here that's built into the seat. You can fit about 2 water bottles or a standard size U-lock, the kryptonite ones that I'm talking about. However, this latch here, there is some getting used to. Sometimes it doesn't click up properly if you don't align it. Moving to the back here, this is where the hub motor is. It's running off of a 36 volt lithium ion battery, which is purporting 20 plus miles of range or 1 hour of ride time. The valves themselves are Schrader valves, as expected at this price range, and the expected top speed is 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers an hour. Charging time takes about 4 hours, and the runtime, it's stating on the website, is 1 hour, but I'm getting way more than that, which we'll get more later on in the testing part. So the whole style of the bike is copying the Super 73 with the iconic kind of beach surfy vibe going on. So the battery sits flush with the bike frame itself. You turn on here, and then you can turn on the dashboard here. So this is a e-assisted bike, so that means there's no throttle. You do have 3 speeds: low, medium, and high. I'll talk about more about the speeds later on. This 6 kilometer button is basically a button that you can push to kind of give the bike a kick, or as you're pushing along to help assist you. You can also just turn off the battery completely and ride it as a normal
The
bike.
pedals for the Raster is way better. Look at these like big platform pedals compared to the like shitty small pedals of the Cruiser. Like this is a way better upgrade.
I bought this bike from Walmart at the end of summer on one of their sales. It was a gift from my mom, as she hasn't ridden a bike in many years, and I thought the low step through frame would be great. But anybody that is basically under 5'5", I would say between 5 foot and 5'3" is like the ideal range, because your legs will be able to stretch out properly as you're riding the bike itself. The gears themselves, once you are using like the highest pedal assist, don't really matter that much because you're going to be keeping it at the highest gear at all times. The disc brakes though, and the platform pedals are a really nice upgrade on this bike, and it really goes pretty fast. The top speed I clocked it at was 32 kilometers an hour. One of the advantage of this bike is that the battery itself sits flush with the frame. There is keys that are 2 keys are provided that will allow you to pop out this battery and you can actually take it inside to charge if you live in a urban surrounding. However, if you live in a house, then what you can also do is just keep it in here, and there's a charging port here that you can plug in. And overall, I think the value for this bike is unmatched. But however, some of the things I wanted to mention here is like this handlebar here. So if you are finding that the width of this handlebar is too far or too forward, the only adjustment you really have is you loosen these four bolts and then you push this handlebar forward or you pull it backwards. And that's really the only adjustment you have. The cable routing is done really well here. You can see it goes into the frame itself instead of sticking out. And you are good to go. Uh, yeah, these are the specs. 7800 milliamp hours, 280 watt hours. So pretty. This is pretty kind of standard for bikes so in this price range. And this is the battery or charger that comes with it. It's just a generic MDA battery, and if you want to see the specs, it's all here. This battery charger and this battery is basically the exact same as this other bike that I purchased for the same time. And so you can see this also says 36 volt. So these batteries are all interchangeable, which means that going to be a great option in terms of replaceability if you find yourself out of warranty and you need to get new batteries. As long as they're using these 36 volts from Hyper, you should be good to go. Finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about is these keys. If you're wondering if these keys are unique or there's the specific to this model, they are in fact unique because these two keys came with this bike and it worked as normal. You can twist it, but this key came with the other bike, which is also using the same style battery, and it doesn't work. So this Hyper Radster 20-inch wheel bike is currently being sold on Walmart for $598. I actually purchased this bike at the end of summer for $399, and I probably would not get it at $598, but $399 is a great deal for this bike, I would say. Probably during Black Friday, you're going to find some really great deals as well. And of course, all these prices I'm quoting you are the Canadian prices. So here are the actual specs they list on the website. So you have 36 volts of lithium ion battery, 20 plus miles of range, which is about 32 kilometers, 1 hour ride time, and the top speed 32 kilometers. I find most of this is like pretty accurate. I weigh about 160 pounds. And if I use kind of level two pedal assist, I'm able to get about 32 kilometers of range. If I go level three, of course, a little bit less. Level one, a little bit more. So this is assuming flat roads. And then they also have the kind of other specs here is aluminum frame, but I wanted to show here, there's actually two other variants of this exact same bike. There's a black variant and there's a silver variant. And as far as I can tell, the only two difference between this one and the red one is the step through frame. So this red one has a very low step through frame, whereas if we go to the black one here, it's got like a top tube, so you won't be able to just kind of step through here. Other than that, I'm not finding any other difference. And of course, there's like a color difference as well. And then let me see if I can find that silver one. Well, there's a silver one of this bike as well. And again, the only difference I can, as far as I can tell, is just the color. So really, just pick on based on the color. But if you're purchasing this bike for somebody who is kind of just getting back into biking and want the electric assist, having that step through frame is really important, especially if they're not used to riding a bike after a long while. Just being able to kind of put your feet down is really gives a sense of kind of security. One of the kind of annoyance with this bike is this kind of handlebar. this is using a BMX style handlebar. So what that means is your adjustment options, like if you wanted to swap out a different length handlebar or even different size or style handlebar, are very limited. You're only able to use BMX style handlebars, and they all kind of just look like this. So if you're somebody who like finding like it's hard to reach the handlebar, or like if your hands are like too cramped in, then really the only adjustment option is you're gonna have to be able to tilt the handlebar like forward or backwards. I'll show a video of what that looks like. That's really your only adjustment option. And then, of course, because it's being shipped to you, it could be damaged during the shipment process. And so, as I said earlier in the video, my lights were broken, and then also the brake calipers required alignment. If you are just somebody who's like even moderately technical, you can just install this bike by yourself. But if you haven't worked with bikes at all, maybe you want to take it to a bicycle shop to get it installed. It will usually cost $50 to $100. So in addition to this $598, you should also factor that installation cost as well. And not all bike shops can work on e-bikes as well. I would recommend this bike if you know what you're getting. So this bike is not really like a daily commuter for somebody just using it to travel to and from work, especially if your commute is going to be kind of longer than 20 kilometers. Because you also want to have some buffer room just in case anything goes wrong, because this expected range is 32 kilometers, right? So this bike is really most suited for just like a fun bike around town, getting some groceries around the neighborhood, going to a coffee shop, or like getting some ice cream, or going out for a bike ride with some kids, or uh, if you haven't biked in a while. So hopefully this review has helped you. If it has, make sure to subscribe to the video. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. And if you're interested in purchasing this product for yourself, I'll have Walmart as well as Amazon affiliate links down below. Costs nothing to you, and I get some kickback from the commission of purchasing this bike. And if you're looking for a good bike lock for this bike, I highly recommend the Kryptonite U Lock, which I will also link down below.
So this one also has a problem out of the box, and the problem is this. So listen to this. Yeah. Basically what's happening is the brake caliper is rubbing. Um, and because these are disc brakes, you just have to adjust them with this Allen key. So hopefully that fixes it.